Well, it's been one hell of a week, folks. One of the most batshit insane examples of content censorship just steamrolled its way through the gaming industry like a runaway freight train powered by pure moral panic. That's right. Steam has officially lost control of its own content policies, and all it took was one coordinated crusade led by an Australian group that thought Detroit Become Human was apparently too spicy because, get this, it depicts violence toward children and women. Let's ignore the context, shall we? Because apparently playing as a robot, questioning its programming in a dystopian future is just too edgy for today's censors. They'd rather you forget that it's a narrative critique about human behavior and free will, not some discount domestic violence simulator. But hey, who needs nuance when you've got a torch and pitchfork? Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today I'm looking at and laughing at the breakdown of the left. That's right, this week Collective Shout scored a terrifying win. They sent an open letter to the payment overlords Visa, Mastercard, Stripe, demanding they sever ties with platforms like Steam and itch.io unless they removed hundreds of so-called offensive adult games. The result: panic, compliance, and, well, the slow creeping death of adult expression in indie games. Let's be clear, this wasn't just about removing a few dodgy visual novels or hentai shovelware. No, these platforms nuked their NSFW categories. Itch.io yanked adult games from its storefront in an emergency move to avoid a total payment freeze. Developers weren't warned. Players who paid for content suddenly found that games they bought were missing or inaccessible. Itch.io denied it, of course, but once trust is gone, it's gone. And the kicker? Collective Shout claims they weren't trying to get everything taken down. They just wanted platforms to abide by the payment provider's values. In other words, do what we say, or we cut off your lifeblood. Visa, Mastercard, PayPal, these aren't neutral tools anymore. They're morality police with the power to gut an entire creative economy. And no, it won't stop at adult games. Think they're going to draw the line there? Cute. Because the real game here is control. Once they've choked off adult games, the next target will be anything that can be called offensive. Books that challenge mainstream narratives, films with edgy scenes, music that talks about sex, power, or rebellion, all will be fair game in the eyes of those who think the public should only consume wholesome, sanitized, state-approved content. And the mainstream media? Silent. The same people who'll scream book bans if you take gender ideology out of a school library are cheering now as independent creators get steamrolled. Free speech for thee, but not for me, huh? Meanwhile, even LGBTQ plus creators are getting caught in the crossfire. With entire categories axed from storefronts, many queer-themed games, even those with mild adult content, vanished in the purge. And it's not just about porn. It's about expression, identity, and agency, you know, the stuff the left used to pretend they cared about. Let me break it down. This is what corporate ESG ideology looks like when merged with pearl-clutching activists. It's not about stopping abuse, it's about controlling thought under the guise of protecting people. They don't trust you to make decisions. They don't want you to think critically or explore darker narratives. They want you lobotomized, tranquil, and consuming products that make you a better little cog in the machine. What we're witnessing is a creeping digital Puritanism, one enforced by the financial sector, not the state. They don't need to pass laws anymore. They just need to control the tools you rely on to publish, sell, or get paid. Welcome to the new world where Mastercard decides what art is allowed. And don't think it stops with games or shows. Sites that sell adult content, I'm talking about full-on DVD distributors, niche video sellers, even stores offering things like toys, are all under the same sword. Most of them rely on Visa, Mastercard, or PayPal, and when those giants decide they don't like the optics, they pull the plug. It happened to Patreon, it's happened to OnlyFans, and it's only a matter of time before platforms selling physical media or adult-themed goods are forced to bend the knee or vanish completely. Steam, controlled by the same gatekeepers. So even if you think, Oh, I can just buy a physical copy. Better check who's processing that payment first. And as always, the press is late to the party, still trying to frame this as a win for the vulnerable. Yeah, because nothing says protecting women like banning stories that actually depict and critique the violence they suffer. But don't worry, Collective Shout's heart bleeds for you. Just as long as you keep your stories rated G and pre-approved by Melinda Tankard-Reist and her band of joyless fun suckers. So where does it go from here? If the industry doesn't push back now, it won't just be game over for adult games, it'll be game over for freedom of thought in all digital media. Once they get the taste of censorship victory, they'll go for the rest. Horror movies, political satire, historical fiction, even bloody romance novels. You'll be left with Netflix originals, Marvel mediocrity, and whatever soul-draining garbage Disney decides to repackage for the 50th time. Enjoy your future. It's beige. And people wonder why indie devs go broke, why creators flee to other industries, or why the next generation of artists don't even bother trying. It's not a mystery, it's not even subtle anymore. This is the result of corporate cowardice and activist extremism holding hands and dancing on the grave of artistic liberty. And that's it for today. If you think they'll stop with steamanditch.io, I've got a bridge to sell you. We either push back or we get used to a world where your digital library looks like it was curated by your nan and the vicar. But hey, at least the bots won't be offended. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell like the video. And leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.